When most people think of pollution, they think of oil spills in the Gulf of Mexico or smokestacks coming from a power plant. They rarely think of their own cell phones, computers, and TVs, when in reality, these are some of the most dangerous forms of pollution. E-waste, or electronic waste, refers to electronic devices that are no longer useful and have been discarded. E-waste is becoming a bigger and bigger problem as the 21st century brings forth new advances in science and technology. E-waste, old flip phones and giant television screens have become a thing of the past, and they're ending up in landfills because people don't know how to properly dispose them. Today I would like to discuss with you some of the dangers of e-waste and some solutions to these problems. That's a chart showing what makes up e-waste. One of the biggest dangers associated with e-waste is the abundance of carcinogens or cancer-causing substances that are found in most electronic devices. Heavy metals such as arsenic, lead, mercury, and cadmium can all be found in most electronic devices. The problem is that these devices sit in landfills for years or even decades, and whenever rain or flooding occurs, it causes these substances to seep into the soil in a form called leachate. This process is called leaching, and when eventually it will hit the aquifer system, which is basically the underground system of groundwater. That's a diagram of an aquifer showing what it is. And it connects all of the lakes in an area. And most people drink groundwater from the aquifers, so this groundwater will become contaminated by the metals, and sometimes even the most advanced water purifying technology can't remove all of the traces of these carcinogens from the water. A study done by Oregon State University showed that residents living within a 10-mile vicinity of electronic waste facilities are slightly more likely to develop lung cancer than those living further away. Another study done by the Florida Department of Environmental Regulation shows that there have been high levels of cadmium in the state's groundwater, and these high levels have been reported since 1983, but are continuously increasing, most likely due to the increasing number of electronic devices that are being tossed away into landfills. When thinking of the dangers of e-waste, one should understand the concept of bioamplification. Bioamplification is defined by the Michigan Institute of Technology as an increase in the concentration of a substance as it moves further up the food chain. Now you might be wondering how bioamplification relates to the dangers of e-waste. Well, because all of the aquifer systems are connected and they connect all the natural lakes in the state of Florida, if something seeps into the aquifer, it will end up in all of the lakes and contaminate the organisms that live there. If a human were to eat these organisms, they too would be consuming a higher level of the toxic metal than they would from simply drinking the water. This is bioamplification. Aside from the health risks associated with e-waste, there are also environmental risks, one of which being that the toxic metals found in electronic devices can change the chemistry of the sediments in lakes and aquifers, and this can result in fish kills and birth defects in the organisms that live there. And that's a fish kill, which is pretty disgusting. E-waste also contains many flammable substances which can lead to fires if not disposed of properly. There are a few solutions to the e-waste problem. Some of them are simple and some are complex. The most simple way to solve this problem is to simply recycle your electronic devices rather than throwing them in the trash can. Most retailers, such as Best Buy and Staples, offer in-store recycling options to help you dispose of your electronic devices, and they might even offer you money for it. There are also some more complex options, such as to remodel old landfills. New landfills are required to have a lining or net underneath them to prevent substances from seeping through. But the older landfills don't have this, and this is where the problem lies. And that would be an example of what a new landfill would have to be, and the leachate will still seep through, but it won't be nearly as bad as it is without the lining. In conclusion, I have discussed many issues involving e-waste, including the health and environmental risks associated with it, and I've also discussed some solutions to this problem. The biggest solution to any problem is education, which is why I hope to have educated you today on the issue of e-waste and some ways to prevent it.